high, standard 6, standard 7, and standard 8. I welcome you all to our science lesson. Today, we are going to talk about soil for class 6 and 7. It is revision. Class 7, you didn't learn this 8, you did not learn this topic soil. So I welcome you all to this lesson. I urge you to pay so much attentive. You listen the way I'm going to explain so that by the end of the lesson, you are able to take the lesson notes as well as any question you will be able to ask at the end of the lesson through WhatsApp. Pupils, I welcome you all. Our topic is soil. The subtopic is water retention. Pupils, what is water retention? Water retention is the ability of soil to hold water. We want to carry out an experiment to investigate water retention in soils. When you talk about water retention, it is the ability of soil to hold water. We want to see the three soil types of soil: clay soil, sand soil, which is the best for holding water as far as water retention is concerned. For the experiment requirements to investigate water retention, you need water, you need cotton, you need different samples of soil, you need funnel, and then you need collecting jar. I want you to look at the setup. If you look properly, at the bottom of the funnel, we have cotton. Each funnel is cotton. You can be able to see cotton in every funnel. Then we have in every funnel we have soil, so that then at the top water has been poured. What are the steps of this experiment? You put equal amount of cotton wool in the funnel. You put the equal amount of cotton wool in the funnel. 2, you place equal amount of different soils on different funnels. You put equal amount of different soils on different funnels. 3, we have what we call collecting jar. Collecting jar. The collecting jar is the one which is going to collect water. Then you need equal volumes of water into the funnel, equal volumes of water in the funnels. Each funnel water has been poured. Then lastly, you wait for some time and observe the amount of water collected in each collecting jar. Pupils, if you are keen in the observation, you are able to make the following observation. 1, least amount of water will pass through the soil with the smallest particles. Least amount of water will pass through the soil with the smallest particle. Second, much water will pass through soils with the biggest particles. Much water will pass with soil with the biggest or largest particles. Soil with the higher water retention has poor drainage. Soil with low water retention has poor drainage, and that is soil with low water retention has good drainage. Soil with the low water retention, has good drainage, and that is sand soil. Pupils, cotton is used to stop or prevent soil particles from falling in the basin. Next is types of soil. Pupils, there are three main types of soil. That is clay soil, sand soil, and loam soil. We want to look on the characteristics of each soil. We start with sand soil. Sand soil has the following characteristics. Sand soil has the following characteristics. One, sand soil has the following characteristics. One, it has large particles. It has large particles. Two, it has large air spaces. Three, it has poor capillarity. Capillarity is the ability of soil to allow water to race through it. That is from bottom to top. It has good drainage. Drainage is the ability of soil to allow water to pass through it. Then they are light soils, hence it is easy to work on. They are light soils, hence it is easy to work on. It is the best for construction due to large air spaces, making it mix well with cement. Pupils, we move to the second type of soil, that is clay soil. Clay soil has the following characteristics. One, it is also called heavy soil since it is difficult to work on. Two, clay soil is the best for modeling. If you are to make different shapes using clay soil, it is easy to mold different shapes. If you are to make ribbons, clay soil is the soil which can make the longest ribbon. Three, it has the poorest drainage. When it has rained, water floods in clay soil. Thus, poor drainage. Water does not pass through it easily. Four, it has the best capillarity. Capillarity is the ability of soil to allow water race through it from bottom to top. It is sticky when wet. It is sticky when wet. It has small air spaces. It has small air spaces. Then lastly, it has small particles. Pupils, we move to the second, third, and the last type of soil, characteristics of loam soil. Loam soil, it has moderate capillarity and drainage. When we talk about moderate capillarity and drainage, we mean both capillarity and drainage is average. That's why we say it has moderate capillarity. Next, It is the best for farming since it is fertile. It is the best for farming since it is fertile. It is a mixture of clay soil and sand soil. Loam soil is a mixture of clay soil and sand soil. Next is soil erosion. Soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Pupils, soil erosion is the carrying away of the top fertile soil by the agents of soil erosion. What is soil erosion? Soil erosion is the carrying away of the top fertile soil by the agents of soil erosion. Agents of soil erosion. The agents of soil erosion, these are the things that facilitate the removal of soil from one place to another. Pupils, agents of soil erosion, they are those things that facilitate the removal of soil from one place to another. The main agents of soil erosion are water and wind. The main agents of soil erosion are water and wind. Water. Water, it is the main agent of soil erosion. Raindrops weakens the soil particles, which makes it easy to erode. Flowing water carries a large amount of top fertile soil. Wind. Wind, the top fertile soil on bare land is carried away by moving wind. Soil erosion is speed up by the action of animals and the human beings. Factors that have increased soil erosion. We have 5 factors that increase soil erosion. We have slope, type of soil, amount of rainfall, lack of vegetation cover, human activities. I want to explain each of the factors that increase soil erosion. Pupils, the rate or speed at which soil is eroded is determined by several factors. Let us start with slope. Slope, the land with steep slopes is eroded more and faster since water tends to flow fast downhill. 2, type of soil. Soil like sand, which is loosely loose, is eroded easily. Amount of rainfall. Heavy rainfall increases the rate of soil erosion since more water, that is an agent of erosion, because more water is available to carry away top fertile soil. 4, lack of vegetation cover. Soils without vegetation cover are exposed to agents of erosion, therefore make it easy to be eroded. Lack of vegetation cover. Soil without vegetation cover are exposed to agents of erosion, hence easily eroded. Lastly, we have human activities. These are activities done by human beings which increase the rate of soil erosion. Examples of such human activities include poor farming methods, overstocking and overgrazing, deforestation, mining and quarrying, construction of roads and buildings. Then pupils, we move to types of soil erosion. If you look at the picture on the screen, that is splash erosion. Splash erosion, pupils, is also known as spatter erosion. Splash erosion is also known as spatter erosion. It is the displacement of soil particles by raindrops when they hit loose, bare ground. If you look at this splash erosion, the rain from above hits the ground and it displaces soil. Water from above hits the ground, it displaces soil. Splash erosion is usually controlled by mulching or planting cover crops in an area before it occurs. It is commonly around houses roofed with the corrugated iron sheets. Second is sheet erosion. Pupils, sheet erosion, it occurs when the topsoil is eroded in thin uniform layer down a gentle slope. It is not easily noticed. It is sometimes noticed when plants' roots are exposed on the surface. It is also considered as a form of landslide. Next is real erosion. Pupils, real erosion, it is the carrying away of top fertile soil by the slow flowing water forming shallow channels on the ground. Pupils, real erosion is common on a gentle slope. Next is gully erosion. Gully erosion, if real erosion is not controlled, it leads to gully erosion. It is common on steep slopes where the fast flowing water forms deep V-shaped or U-shaped gullies. Pupils, gully erosion can be controlled by building gabions. Gabions are also known as porous dams or check dams. Pupils, order of erosion, sheet erosion, if not controlled, leads to real erosion. If real erosion is not controlled, it leads to gully erosion. I repeat, order of erosion, sheet erosion, if not controlled, leads to real erosion. Second, if real erosion is not controlled, it leads to gully erosion. Soil fertility. Soil fertility is the ability of soil to produce high yields and maintain production for a long time. Soil fertility is the ability of soil to produce high yields, that is, harvests, and maintain production for a long time. Pupils, soil fertility is enhanced by adding fertilizers to the soil. Fertilizers or manures are substances added into the soil to enhance soil fertility by provision of nutrients lacking in the soil. Pupils, there are two types of fertilizers. One, natural fertilizers, also known as organic manures. Two, artificial fertilizers, also known as inorganic fertilizers. Artificial fertilizers, also known as inorganic fertilizers. Number one, organic manure. Pupils, there are 4 types of organic manure. That is farmyard manure, green manure, compost manure, and mulches. Organic manure, there are 4 types of organic manure, namely farmyard manure, green manure, mulches, and compost manure. Let us start with farmyard manure. It is also called animal manure. It is made from animal waste. Animal waste is commonly known as cow dung. Then we have droppings, urine, and the remains of animal feeds. An example of a bedding is leftover food such as napier grass, sawdust, and leaves. 2, green manure. It is made by cutting or chopping green plants and blowing them into the soil. Green manure also takes the longest time to release nutrients to the soil. What are the qualities of plants used to make green manure? What are the qualities of plants used to make green manure? 1, should be leafy. 2, should be quick to grow. 3, should be quick to rot. 4, should be leguminous. It is purely made from leguminous plants because they are rich in nutrients. Then number 3, we have mulches or mulches. Mulches are dry leaves placed at the bottom of a growing plant to conserve water or soil moisture. After some time, mulches rot to become manure. Mulches are also useful in the following ways. 1, control soil erosion. 2, prevent growth of weeds. Lastly is compost manure. Compost manure is made from decayed plant remains and animal wastes such as cow dung and the food leftovers, among others. Compost manure is made in heaps or pits. In areas with high rainfall, we use heaps to prevent water lodging. In dry areas, we use pits to reduce evaporation. What are the things added in a compost heap to make manure? Dry leaves. Dry leaves are added, or dry leaves, they reduce the rate of evaporation. 2, you need topsoil. The main function of topsoil is to introduce bacteria to faster decomposition or rotting. Then you have to add ash. Ash, it adds additional nutrients. Then we have farmyard manure. Farmyard manure provides nutrients for the bacteria. Note the following. The compost manure should be turned regularly, that is 3 to 4 weeks, to allow air circulation that will in turn enhance faster decomposition. Decomposition is to facilitate rotting. 2, during dry season, the heap should be sprinkled with water to keep it moist. This speeds up the rate of decomposition. Pupils, let us see now the advantages of organic manure. Advantages of organic manure: 1, it binds soil particles. 2, releases the nutrients slowly for a long time. 3, reduce soil erosion. 3, improves aeration. Lastly, it improves soil structure. Pupils, let us see the disadvantages of organic manure. The disadvantages of organic manure. Organic manure, the disadvantages are as follows. 1, they are bulky. When we say bulky, very heavy to transport. 2, does not carry specific nutrients. 3, expensive to prepare. 4, it can lead to the spread of weeds. The spread of weeds from where they are prepared, then they are transported to the farm or to the field. The likelihood of spreading these weeds are very high. 5, it takes a long time to rot and release nutrients. Then 6, can lead to the spread of diseases. When you talk about the diseases, from where it's made, then it is transported to the field. They can spread diseases to the crops. Now, in our last part, we want to see artificial fertilizers. Pupils, artificial fertilizers, these are inorganic manures. They contain specific nutrients. They are made artificially in factories. They are made artificially in factories. The inorganic fertilizers are divided into 2. The inorganic fertilizers are divided into 2. 1, straight fertilizers. 2, compound fertilizers, also known as mixed fertilizers. I'm repeating. The inorganic fertilizers are divided into 2, that is straight fertilizers and the compound fertilizers, also known as mixed fertilizers. So we start with straight fertilizers. Straight fertilizers, they contain one macronutrients, also known as macronutrients. Macronutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those that contain nitrogen are known as nitrogenous fertilizers. I repeat, those that contain nitrogen are called nitrogenous fertilizers. Those that contain phosphorus are called phosphatic fertilizers. Those that contain phosphorus are known as or are called phosphatic fertilizers. Lastly, those that contain potassium are called potassic fertilizers. Examples of straight fertilizers are as follows. Nitrogenous fertilizers, we have urea, we have CAN. CAN in full stands for calcium ammonium nitrate. Calcium ammonium nitrate, in short, CAN. Then we have bread meal. Then lastly, we have phosphate of ammonia. The second one is phosphatic fertilizers. Phosphatic fertilizers, examples are bone meal. We have single super phosphate, that is SSP. SSP, it means single super phosphate. Example 3, it is DSP, that is double super phosphorus. DSP. DSP in full means double super phosphate. Lastly, we have TSP. TSP is a phosphatic fertilizer. It means triple super phosphate. Triple super phosphate. Lastly, let us see potassic fertilizers. Potassic fertilizers, there are two examples. We have muriate of potash and the salivate of potash. Lastly, compound fertilizers, also known as mixed fertilizers. Pupils, compound fertilizers, they are also known as mixed fertilizers. Why? They contain more than one major nutrients, so we call them macronutrients. Example of compound fertilizers are, we have one examples of compound fertilizers. One, we have nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Nitrogen, phosphate, phosphorus, and potassium. In short, we call them NPK. NPK, it is the initials. N stands for nitrogen, P stands for phosphorus, and the K stands for potassium. Another example is diammonium phosphate. Diammonium phosphate, DAP. DAP in full, it is diammonium phosphate. 3, we have monoammonium phosphate. Monoammonium phosphate. Pupils, monoammonium phosphate, in short, this MAP. MAP means monoammonium phosphate. Pupils, let us see the advantages of artificial fertilizers. The advantages of artificial fertilizers, they contain specific nutrients. 2, they release the nutrient very fast. 3, are easy to transport and to store. So we say less bulky. Lastly, are ready to use and in small economical amounts. Lastly, as we come to the end of our lesson, is disadvantages of artificial fertilizers. The disadvantages of artificial fertilizers, there are 3. 1, they do not improve the physical properties of soil. They do not improve the physical properties of soil. 2, they pollute the environment, especially when used in excess. You use them in excess. When it rains, the surface runoff goes to the river, so it pollutes water. Lastly, they are expensive to acquire. Why? For you to acquire these compound fertilizers, there is no shortcut. If you are a farmer, you have to buy them from shops. Pupils, we come to the end of our lesson, soil, and we have finished this topic. Inshallah, next time when we are going to meet, we're gonna start food and nutrition. Food and nutrition, we want to see it across the board, class 5, class 6, class 7, and then class 8. I wish you a good day, a blessed one. So I urge you to listen carefully. You take short or summarized notes. In case you have any question to ask, you have the number. Feel free to ask at any question or any clarification on soil. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.